good day to be Indigenous.
Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Couldn't cut, hitting the cut again.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake.
Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. Hey, Kadagi to all my friends and relatives in four directions. You are listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. Hey, we discuss local and national Native news and events, and as you know, Chujunk, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues.
Yes, you are right, Daga. This portion of the show is supported by Native Concrete and Masonry, working together with clients to design, perform, create, and accomplish. Check out their work at nativeconcreteandmasonry.com or give Chuck a call at 612-597-0421.
Wow, sorry about that. I got so excited about our guest, I almost cut you off on that read. Hey, we have our friend, Ruth Buffalo, President and CEO of Minnesota Indian Women's Resource Center here in Minneapolis, and it's always great to have a nice little conversation and check in with what's going on. Welcome, Ruth. How you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Cool. So, hey, we got a lot of things going on, but I guess I can start off right away and just wish you a great Greasy Grass Day here, a victory here that we talk about here on Native Roots Radio and all across Turtle Island.
Yes, thank you. Yep, my base again. It's a good day.
Yes, definitely. And you know, one of the clearest stories that I've ever read about the Battle of Little Bighorn or Custer's Last Stand, or however you want to put it, we like to put it, the Battle of Greasy Grass Hill, is one of the best accounts that I've ever read. Is Black Elk Speaks. I don't know if you've ever read that book, but I've read that book many times, and I have it on my phone, so if I take long walks, I can listen to the book too. It's just amazing what all the tribes did to pull together for that victory, and kind of, you know, with Standing Rock happening 7 years ago, and starting the show, it was kind of like that was the largest Standing Rock meeting was the largest a gathering of Native tribes since the Battle of Greasy Grass.
Yes, for sure. It was quite historic. I remember watching a lot of the delegations come in. I have some of that footage too, I think through Snapchat, you know, like the tiny increment of videos, but some of those films and footage, you know, went viral because of just capturing some of those moments. Like it was right as the sun, like dusk, you know, the sun was going down, and seeing a delegation come in. It was powerful, and then it just brought you, I was going to say brought you back, but it definitely, I felt like it tapped heavily into our ancestral blood memory. Just being there, standing along the entrance with all the different flags and seeing all the delegations was super powerful.
Yeah, from all over the world. There was flags from nations. I was there, and I think Australia, a tribe from Australia came in, and we had ceremony around the fire that was being kept, and it was an amazing time. And it really, it's funny too. I did not realize this, and I'm kind of going off subject here, but you know, that representative from Brooklyn, she was there, and that's what spiked her career in politics. That I saw pictures of her at Standing Rock, and I was totally amazed.
Yeah, I remember seeing so many different people there. Like we helped contributed by bringing a basketball hoop, portable basketball hoop that was there till the end. But yeah, we saw so many different people there. I remember seeing the twins that perform. I believe they're based out of Oklahoma, and I remember seeing them there that day when they had I don't want to mispronounce his name, but an artist who's MHA in Standing Rock, and I think maybe Cheyenne River as well. But it was the day they had those big, tall mirrors, and people, they were helping people to hold hands and then also hold those big, tall, narrow mirrors. But we were driving through camp, kind of bouncing around in one of my friend's car, and we passed the twins. They performed. They were actually out in Mandaree last summer for the 4th. But anyhow, we remember asking them, hey, how's it going? When you guys, are you leaving soon? Or, and one, they simultaneously answered. One was like, yeah, we're going to be leaving soon. The other was like, no, we're going to be staying for a little bit longer. But yeah, I definitely saw a lot of people from all walks of life, and it was a super powerful moment that we'll never forget, for sure.
Right. And I was thinking of AOC from New York that was there, and it was pretty amazing and it inspired this show too, because we went there many times and saw the lack of news that was coming out of there, accurate news especially, but any kind of, and I was there for Thanksgiving, and Jane Fonda was there, and then there was a couple other actors. There was this one woman actor that she'd been
Shailene
there.
Woodley?
Yeah.
Yeah.
that I had asked her if I could take a picture with her and Wendy, and then she put up her scarf and she shook her head yes. So, but it was funny. Everyone could recognize her from her eyes. It was pretty funny. And we have that one story. I don't know if you've ever heard this, Ruth, is that we were watching, they were going to Turtle Hill, and they built a bridge, and Wendy and I were going, we can't get arrested. We got our dogs with us, and we had we rented an RV, blah, blah, blah. But you get caught up in the moment, we're 100 yards away, and next thing you know, we're 50 yards away. And then the next thing you know, we're raising our fist and crossing the bridge. We got caught up in the excitement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. We had many trips down there. I believe 3 of us were running for statewide office at the time, and the beginning of our campaigns, we were, I think the breaking of the ground where the bulldozing happened was actually up in Bismarck, co-presenting with one of my professors from the public health department at NDSU, and then I had some free time in between for a campaign event, so headed down there, and my mom sent me down there with vegetables, from her garden, and back then it was early in the early stages, and I remember going Facebook Live at one of those approaches and saying, this was a human rights violation. But yeah, I remember seeing some of the people there in the earlier stages when the dirt was just being dug into on the sacred sites and burial areas. So, but yeah, we brought our kids down there, camped out, brought the dogs, throughout over time. Yeah. And I was also a independent contractor with ACLU of North Dakota during the legislative session to keep the presence, I guess you could say, help the ACLU of North Dakota out while their one worker was, tending to the legislature. But we all ended up at the legislature anyhow, to provide opposition testimony to a package of bills that were infringing upon your basic human rights, right to assembly. I think they were even trying to pass a law at that time to make it legal to run over someone, and it really deeply conflicted with our communities and how we have relatives who walk, from community to community, and so there would have been so important that we're in these spaces to provide insight that others might not otherwise see, or help. We all have blind spots, and so it's good to be in those spaces to provide comprehensive lens.
Yeah, I'm going to end this segment. We're here with Ruth Buffalo, our friend from Minnesota Indian Women's Resource Center. And in all seriousness, helicopters and planes really freaked me out after the Standing Rock era. And you know what I mean, and we can talk about that. But I'd like to see what's going on with you and your organization, and we're glad to have you on. This is Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake.
I heard sex trafficking happens a lot in Indian country. What is that?
Here are some of the real reasons why sex trafficking happens in Indian country. Unequal gender roles that were forced on us by colonization. Communities don't have enough resources. Silence around domestic and sexual violence. Lack of attention and justice for missing and murdered Indigenous people. There's a lot of behavior that keeps our communities out of balance. These are just a few true reasons why Native communities are targeted by traffickers. When these acts of violence happen in our communities, it opens us all up for exploitation.
Sponsored by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Bonjour, hello. My name is Wabin. I am an enrolled member of the White Earth Nation, descendant of the Navajo Nation, and co-chair of the Indigenous Employee Resource Group with the Minnesota Department of Transportation. MnDOT is hiring for a variety of positions from road maintenance to accounting and more. We offer great benefits. For more information or to set up a one-on-one resume and application assistance, visit mn.gov/careers, or you can text or call 612-257-2388. 612-257-2388.
As we emerge from the shadows of the pandemic, let us celebrate our resilience and embrace the path to a brighter future. While the COVID-19 emergency declaration may be over, our commitment to safety remains stronger than ever. We invite you to stand tall and protect what matters most, our health and the well-being of our loved ones and elders. The power to keep our community safe lies within each one of us. It's important to remember the basics when you're with someone who might be at risk of COVID complications. Wear your mask, wash your hands often, and take an at-home COVID test if you have any symptoms. We are a strong and interconnected community, and together we'll emerge from this challenge stronger than ever. Stay safe, stay healthy, and keep the spirit of our Native American culture thriving. Find more tips on continuing to be safe at health.state.mn.us. That's health.state.mn.us.
This message is brought to you in partnership with the Minnesota Department of Health.
Anine, I'm Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, and you are listening to Native Roots Radio.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by Native American Community Clinic on Franklin Avenue in Minneapolis, honoring health and tradition.
Hey, we're here with our friend Ruth Buffalo, who is the CEO at Minnesota Indian Women's Resource Center here in Minneapolis in the Twin Cities. And Ruth, we went off the deep end there talking first about grassy hill, and then I started reminiscing, and I really want to know what's going on with you. And,
I know. Thank you for bringing me back to. I was like, oh yeah, dang, I'm wearing this hat right now. Sorry.
I was thinking, what are we going to do with our chihuahuas if they arrest us? But that's my own cross to bear. But hey, what's going on with your organization? And I always wanted to pitch how we can support this great organization that really does so much work in the Twin Cities and our Native community.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. As you may know, I started work with the Minnesota Indian Women's Resource Center on March 4th and have since hit the ground running in like a dead sprint. No, I'm just kidding. Love the work, love the community, love the staff here. Everybody is amazing, and we have an amazing board as well. But yes, and great predecessors and, the founders who had the vision and the strength and courage to come together and put something in place for our future generations. So we have this huge, huge responsibility to make sure that we do the best we can to the best of our ability to help our most vulnerable relatives on the outside of this building, who need the most care and help and love possible. And so tonight we are hosting our first of many more community meetings to come. And so tonight at 5:30, in a few minutes here, we're going to be hosting a community meeting where we, just hope to provide community updates, program updates, sort of a meet and greet with the staff and the community, and other partners are welcome to attend. The community is welcome to attend. We have sandwiches and light refreshments, and you can donate always anytime at miwrc.org/donate.
Yeah, well, it's great and to get the word out there about donating, and because I get asked a lot of times, how can we help? How can we help the Native community? And there you go. There's a way for everyone across Turtle Island that listens to our show to support Minnesota Indian Women's Resource Center, and Ruth Buffalo. Uh, so what else is going on? Maybe what's happening? Any updates on what's happening? I know you're looking for workers, where people can find information about finding a job with you. Could you elaborate on that?
Sure. You can go to miwrc.org and then click on, the homepage. Of course, we'll encourage you to donate to help support our work and helping us help others. And then there's some different tabs on the top right-hand corner. There's an events tab that has all of our current events and calendar, of flyers for upcoming events. And then we have a careers tab that has our most up-to-date and recent job postings. We are looking for an executive assistant. We are also building a team of grant writer contractors, and then also some more contract work, more specifically as a communications specialist as a contractor. We have drop-in center support workers that have been hired and will start July 8th. So we had some in-house transfers too, so to fill other positions. We have our new JAMO program, She Heals, is fully staffed now with a victim specialist and a sexual assault advocate and the director. Our family services is fully staffed with the exception of another staff member being added there in community education. But aside from that, in family services, we have 2 ICWA kinship workers, ICWA liaison, family spirit home visitor, and a life skills parenting skills worker. And then also waiting to hire a foster care licensure worker. And then we have a learning center that provides training to the community, but mainly one beautiful training they host every year is the Native American training pertaining to substance use disorder. And it's really geared towards non-tribal providers or non-Native people who serve are at risk, or they say, I think they the language they use is at risk, tribal population or Native population. And then we have our housing program. And so we're looking to expand because there's such a great need, but right now it's really stabilizing what programs we do have and then eventually looking to build upon those, but just really, really trying to stabilize what we do have, make sure that we maintain and retain our staff, retention, and, make sure that our staff have job security and that we don't lose anybody. So those are some of our top priorities right now, but just mainly really looking to stabilize what we have here in-house so that we can continue to keep our doors open 7 generations ahead.
Well, it's amazing when you list the people that you're working for and that are looking for work and the positions that you filled, all the things that you do there. I just have a quick question. This must be kind of an exciting time to be in your position because of how it's growing and coming back. And that sounds really exciting to me when I hear what you're listing off, all these jobs and the things that you do.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I'm thankful to be in this meaningful role of giving back to our community and serving the most vulnerable among us who need assistance the most. And so there's sort of some parallels to like previous work. I used to work at a tribal college where I led a wellness program, and we used a comprehensive approach and did wellness plans for the entire campus community, including the students and staff. And so I had a lot of worksite wellness background as well as Tai Chi Easy and really incorporating our tribal values into everything we do and did, but making sure that we offered more than just basketball intramurals, making sure we had something for everybody, but, beadwork, open drum, just everything that we could provide as a good, nurturing support system for our campus community. So I feel like there's some parallels. I'm thankful to get back to that kind of work and helping people live longer, because ultimately when we are well, we're going to live longer and we deserve to live a good healthy life like the next person. And so that's kind of some things that come to mind.
Well, and we all know that you have a great heart, and what's exciting to have you in that position is that, that old Paul Wellstone kind of mantra is, when we do well, we do well, everybody does well. And that's what you guys do there, is to make sure people are well in the community, and from whether it's trauma or things that have gone on, or to housing and these things that are affecting us as Native people in a big way. And, we were not homeless before 1492, and we like to bring that up every once in a while.
For sure. It's like our basic human rights, our basic needs. In the public health world, they're referred to as like the social determinants of health, like access to healthcare, shelter, access to a house or shelter, and food, and safety. And I know on the international level, they're referring to them now as the Indigenous determinants of health, all rooted in our tribal values. But yeah, for sure. I mean, I used to teach health and wellness classes at the tribal college, and then, the more we learned and dug into the disparities, back then the buzzword was like food insecurity or food deserts, and then the overlap or intersection with tribal communities and the lack thereof of access, and then connecting the dots to policy. And then that's when I got, entrenched into policy, where we were learning, poor health as a result of poor policy. And then you look further, kind of peel back the layers and see, well, who's making these policies? Who's responsible for these policies? And are they reflective of the communities that they are making these policies on, that directly impact the communities? So yeah, just a lot of stuff there. But yes, it's definitely heart work. It's definitely prevention. A lot of what happens underneath the roof of MIWRC is so key to prevention of further tragedies, and especially MMIR, MMIP, so MMIW.
Yeah, definitely. I was at a meeting this week, and somebody said that there's 75 to 78,000 Native Americans living in the Twin Cities, and a lot of them, don't want to be counted in the census. So that number kind of floored me. But that's part of your clientele and people that your organization reaches out to.
For sure. And to that end, hearing this striking statistics, like you mentioned, and the huge disparity in overdoses with opioids, and how I don't want to rattle off those statistics yet, because I'm still learning. I know Dr. Anthony Stately kind of rattles those off. But there's some striking statistics, and I was at a meeting today too with the MUD group, Metro Urban Indian Directors Group, where life expectancy was mentioned, and how that intersection is directly impacted by the opioid use and our unsheltered, and the huge gap, a lack of services and resources to the communities here that deserve the most help.
Thank you so much, Big Peeny Gigi. Thank you, Ruth Buffalo, for stopping in as usual. And what a breath of fresh air. And Peeny Gigi, for all the work that you do for our community and have been doing.
Let's get it.
We'll be right back. Native Roots Radio.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Imagine over 7,000 voices from around the globe coming together in harmony in Minneapolis. This summer, Gala Courses Festival 2024 comes to Minnesota. It's the world's largest LGBTQ plus singing event. From July 10th to 14th, Minneapolis will be transformed into a vibrant city of song. Join 122 courses from places as far as China, Estonia, Finland, Ukraine, and Taiwan for 5 unforgettable days of wall-to-wall concerts, workshops, and social events. Revel in the joy and pride of this extraordinary festival at world-class venues like Orchestra Hall, the Minneapolis Convention Center, and Central Lutheran Church. The last festival in 2016 united over 6,000 singers, and this year's promises to be even bigger. Feel the energy in person by purchasing tickets at galacourses.org or stream every performance live and on demand at galacourses.org. Celebrate love, diversity, and the power of music at Gala Courses Festival 2024, where every voice matters. That's July 10th through the 14th in downtown Minneapolis.
Hi, I'm Chuck Manette, owner of Native Concrete and Masonry. With concrete and masonry adding substantial value to your home, it's always a great idea to repair your sidewalks or just add a beautiful new patio. Cracks or heaving in your sidewalks due to tree roots can be dangerous. Native Concrete and Masonry has helped clients across the metro to make their outdoor space safer and helped increase the value to their homes. For patios, sidewalks, driveways, or garage slabs, go to nativeconcretemasonry.com.
Do you have a personal financial goal like buying a car, starting a business, saving for college, or investing for retirement? Whatever your goal is, you need a plan. It might seem overwhelming, but like physical fitness, you can gradually improve your financial health step by step. Start by creating a spending plan, improving your credit score, opening a bank account, or finding a trusted advisor. Not sure where to start? Visit mn.gov/commerce/money for more.
J&S Bean Factory is a native-owned, community-supported, cozy, artsy coffee shop which offers roasted on-site beans, live music, and baked goods. Relax in the beautiful outside patio. City Pages writes, voted top 10 coffee shops. Tucked into a quiet corner of St. Paul's Highland Park neighborhood, this coffee shop roasts beans on-site from the best coffee-growing countries in the world. Located at 1518 Randolph Avenue, St. Paul. The good stuff.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Partly cloudy tonight with a low of 63, then Wednesday sunshine with a high of 73. Vinaigrette can add the perfect complement to your next home-cooked meal. Taste test their wide selection of oils and vinegars, and they'll bottle it for you right on the spot. Vinaigrette is located at 50th and Xerxes in South Minneapolis. Check them out at vinaigrettemn.com.
Hi, this is Representative Sharice Davids from Kansas. I'm Ho Chunk, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Hey, welcome back, everyone. This is where Haley and I have some fun here and some fun facts going on that Haley's put together here for this part of the show. I just want to touch base, and if we haven't already, talk about the Battle of Greasy Grass, and its anniversary today on June 25th and 26th in 1876. Arapaho and the Cheyenne, Lakota warriors defeated the U.S. Army's 7th Cavalry in the Battle of Little Bighorn, and it's got to give our relatives a shout out. It's the only time that I think the cavalry got their flag taken away, and the Lakotas still have their flag. So hoorah!
That's amazing. I didn't know that they still had the flag. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, we're talking the Battle of Little Bighorn, also known as Custer's Last Stand, and then more known around Turtle Island as the Battle of Greasy Grass. And this was the most ferocious battle of the Sioux Wars, and I don't think they really stood a chance, because what I've heard is that, Sitting Bull had that vision, right, of the U.S. cavalry soldiers falling into a camp kind of like upside down like grasshoppers. So I guess from this vision, it can be gathered that the people were ready for something to happen, as in like the Native people kind of sensed something big was coming. And of course it did. And then General Custer led 5 companies of the 7th Cavalry to their death.
Yeah. Hey, Haley, to put this in nowadays perspective, and I know time flies, but we've been on the radio for 7 years. And so 8 years ago to 7 years ago, there was Standing Rock in
Mm-hmm.
at Standing Rock Tribe. And that was the largest gathering of nations since the Battle of Greasy Grass. And
Wow.
there was
From
over
1876?
yeah, there was
Wow.
yeah, because they all disembarked or there was not that big a gathering ever again
Sure.
until Standing Rock, where we had over 500 tribes recognize that we're at the Standing Rock. I guess protest site, but it was no DAPL, and the Dakota Access Pipeline was going through the Standing Rock tribe, and they called people from all over the world, which came, and I saw the flags from all these different nations across the world that were there. So that's kind of put it a little bit in perspective of nowadays too.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that example definitely helped me too. And yeah, I want to shout out American Indian Family Center. Some of the stuff I just read, they've been really good about posting today. And then I want to shout out our friends, neighbors, and relatives who made the trip out to Rapid City these past few days for today's victory celebration and the Leonard Peltier Freedom Run on Pine Ridge Reservation, because we got to keep talking about Leonard and keep supporting his release.
Definitely. Well, and it's good to talk about that, and it's good to bring up. And again, I think, it's the only battle that the U.S. Cavalry or the United States have ever lost. So, and there's some significance there. So, there's other things going on too that you have earmarked for us to talk about, to segue into some positive things. Well, and that was
Yeah.
positive too, but it was a long time ago.
Yeah, no,
Sorry.
Victory Day is very positive for us natives. But I also want to mention, our Indigenous people in sports. If you weren't watching the biggest sports game on TV last night, I personally would love to fill you in on one of my favorite sports, which is hockey. Last night was Game 7 of the NHL Stanley Cup Finals, where the Florida Panthers beat the Edmonton Oilers 2-1. This is a first-time franchise championship win for Florida. And, a Minnesota native was on the team, Kyle Okposo, also was hoisting that Stanley Cup up last night with the Panthers. This coming from Hockey Indigenous. Make sure you give them a follow on Facebook, Hockey Indigenous. They stated back-to-back Indigenous Stanley Cup champions this year's Florida Panthers player Brandon Montour, coming from the Six Nations Mohawk, and last year's Cup winner from the Vegas Golden Knights, Zach Whitecloud from Sioux Valley, Dakota Nation. I don't know if you've seen this video, Daga, of Zach Whitecloud bringing the Stanley Cup back to his community, his Dakota community, and they were circling the powwow grounds with the Stanley Cup. That was really cool last year.
Yeah, I did, and it is very cool, and it's always good to see our Indigenous relatives bring back victories such as that back to their nation and their people.
Yeah. Other Indigenous players to win the Stanley Cup include Jordan Noland. He's First Nation Ojibwe on his father's side, and he grew up in the Garden River First Nation near Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, Canada. And then also Theo Fleury is a Native Indigenous player to win the Stanley Cup, as well as Chris Simon and TJ Oshie. TJ Oshie, this is a great segue into what I wanted to talk about next year. Oshie is currently the right wing for the Washington Capitals. His late father was first cousins with the great Ojibwe hockey legend and late friend of ours here on Native Roots Radio, Henry Boucher. And there's that great documentary by Indigenous filmmaker Leah Hale, who's been on the show in the past. And, her documentary just really honors Henry's story and career and his spirituality within our Native communities. Really just highlights his life up till just a few months before he passed away last summer. You can check out that documentary about Henry Boucher and hockey life in War Road, Minnesota. It's called The Electric Indian, and I believe you can look that up on streaming services, but check out PBS too.
Yeah, that is a great documentary. Got to check that out, and got to see the screener, and I got to, because I was out of town the few times that it was here. Our friend Kate Bean is relatives of people, and I'm kind of regressing back to the Battle of Greasy. We probably know a lot of people and don't know it that are descendants of that battle, and
For sure.
just want to give a shout out. I just thought about that too, and I didn't want to
Yeah.
interrupt you in your good messages about what's going on. But there's also stuff going on in the community too, and we're getting close to Thursday. And I know it's only Tuesday, but we're getting close to Thursday. And if
I
you're in
know.
the Twin Cities area, it's cool to go check out the powwow grounds and all my relations, and also the Four Sisters Market, which is all in the same place. And do I understand correctly? I mean, I'm not creeping on you, but did you go eat at the Gatherings Cafe today?
I did stop there, actually. I went to Gatherings Cafe, which is in the Minneapolis American Indian Center, the new
Hmm.
opened one. And I saw our friend Dr. Anthony Stately of NAC. He was sitting there eating his lunch as well. Who else did I see? Trish Cook was there. Then I also stopped into NACD and said hi to John Williams. And
Oh, cool.
yeah, seeing all of our friends.
Yeah.
Do,
You were
do
on
you
tour there
I
in
was.
Minneapolis.
Touring the American Indian Cultural
Cool.
Corridor. We
Exactly.
could be really good tour guides for anyone wanting to do that. We might charge a fee though. Who knows?
Yeah. We take
Um,
Venmo.
yeah, we do take Venmo. In other Turtle Island news, do you remember? I think Wendy did a segment on this. Do you remember the white buffalo or the Tatonka or the Chefchi in Ho Chunk that was born at the Yellowstone National Park recently?
No, I don't.
Oh, well, they had a baby white buffalo.
Oh,
It's not.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's not an albino one. People were trying to tell me it's an albino buffalo. It's not, though. And you can tell because if it was an albino buffalo, it would have the pink eyes and the pink nose. But it's got black hooves. It's got a black nose. So this is
Mhm.
a white buffalo calf. And tomorrow, June 26th, a naming ceremony is being held for this baby white calf. And this is a
Mhm.
post shared by AIM, American Indian Movement of Montana, on Facebook. It will be a ceremony celebrating the calf's birth, and it'll be set at the Buffalo Field Campaign Headquarters in West Yellowstone tomorrow.
Mm. Wow. Cool. Very cool. And I happen to have a print of a white buffalo that was shot by our friend John Anderson, a big photographer here
Yeah,
in the Twin Cities.
photography shot it, right?
Yeah, and I have white hair from a white buffalo in the frame too.
I know exactly what picture you're talking about. It's one of my faves too.
Yeah,
It's
he's a
very
great
sacred.
photographer. Yeah, he's a photographer too, and he's awesome. He takes pictures. He was Clyde's photographer, Clyde Belcourt of the Native American Indian Movement for many years before Clyde passed away. And
Oh, wow.
yeah,
Well, in more news for our relatives kind of out west from Minnesota, this is something I sent you. This is Winnebago news here.
Ooh.
In Lincoln, Nebraska, last Thursday, the Senate passed a bill to give land back to the Winnebago tribe of Nebraska.
that's huge.
I was really excited to see that.
When do we move there?
I know, right? We're going to get some of that land, hopefully. I don't know. I just get the Wodoc sent up from Nebraska. That's it.
Oh,
At least I get that, though.
check for our family name there.
I will. In more local Minneapolis Native news this week, tomorrow, Little Earth is hosting a free fair from noon to 4 p.m., June 26th. The free fair includes art in the park, face painting, Zumba, and free massages and energy healing and acupuncture, which I might have to get over there because free massage,
Yeah.
I need that.
Well, I'd have to check out the Zumba because that's kind of my pace now at 63 is doing some Zumba and sweating to
Yeah.
the oldies.
Yeah. Well, if they have the oldies out there, I'll be out there too. Watch your hip though too, and your knees, please.
The knees especially. I won't be going lateral. That I
Okay.
know of.
Good. Also tomorrow, Wednesday, June 26th, American Indian Family Center in St. Paul will be hosting a traditional cedar healing ceremony from 4 to 8 p.m. at Cherokee Regional Park. And then Thursday this week, this is really cool. I know we got about a minute left here. Thursday, if you're a little farmer's marketed out, you can swing through to the Red Lake Nation College Minneapolis campus. They'll be hosting a fall registration barbecue on June 27th, this Thursday from noon to 4. The address is 900 South 3rd Street, Minneapolis. You can get help and fill out your admissions application, register for fall classes, and enjoy barbecue foods such as grilled hot dogs and hamburgers. Make sure to bring your state or tribal ID, high school diploma, or GED. And yeah, get registered for college, all of you young students or older students looking to come back and get an associate's degree.
Yeah, definitely. And I was a lifelong learner, and I didn't get my degree until I was in my 40s. So,
Beautiful campus, too.
It can be done, and go for it. You're never too late.
Exactly.
Hey, Native Roots Radio presents I'm Wake. Thanks a lot, Haley. And we'll be right back with Wendy in her Sacred Animals section. Stay with us.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
As nature awakens this spring, let's awaken to the call of protection. Native brothers and sisters, let's bloom together by getting vaccinated against COVID-19. Let's nurture our heritage and safeguard our futures, one vaccination at a time. So be a vaccinative this spring by protecting yourself and others in our Native community. Whether you're due for an updated vaccine or just getting started, all COVID vaccines offer vital protection against severe illness. For our elders over 65, the latest vaccine is recommended by the CDC to maintain protection. So spring forward with strength, Native communities. Embrace the renewal of the season and safeguard our traditions by getting vaccinated against COVID-19. For more information, including details about clinics offering free vaccines, visit vaccines.gov. That's vaccines.gov. This message is brought to you in partnership with the Minnesota Department of Health. Hi, it's Robert Pilot from Native Roots Radio. If you need new windows for your home or business, I highly recommend 952 Windows. They offer windows and doors with the longest warranties and Energy Star's #1 most efficient ratings. I can personally vouch for them, having known the owner for decades. They did a fantastic job on our second floor addition 20 years ago, installing windows, roofing, siding, and even adding a master bedroom and bathroom. In my opinion, they're one of the most best-kept secrets in remodeling. As Onyx Bath and Rosebud cabinet dealers, 952 Windows guarantees top-quality products. Until now, 952 Windows thrived on referrals and the loyalty of satisfied Window-Lite customers. They continue to support these customers by providing warranty parts for the 80,000 windows sold since 1994. For unbeatable deals and trusted service on windows, doors, roofing, siding, kitchens, bathrooms, and more, call 952 Windows or visit 952windows.com.
Hi, I'm Jane Fonda, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
Hi, I'm Jane Fonda, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by Howling for Wolves, protecting wolves for future generations. And here's Wendy with the new Sacred Animals.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Haley. Hey, everybody. My name is Hanajihihani. That means cares for them. I was given that name by my Dega Curtis. Curtis goes by Mashke Hanajinga, which means walks on white clouds. I'm a humane policy volunteer leader for the Humane Society of the United States, and I work on animal issues at the local and state level. It's always my pleasure to do that. I want to apologize for my voice today. I have a pretty bad cold, but I'm going to try to push through it and not cough.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Okay, so with all the hot weather happening throughout the United States, this is from a veterinarian who wants to put out a public awareness about what could happen when a dog is overheated. And when it's too hot for the dog is panting really out of control. It's breathing really rapidly. It really can't stand up. So this is overheated dog. And the worst thing to do, which is like your instinct, is to throw or put like a wet towel on its back or wet its back or put water on the dog's back. That's the worst thing that you can do. So what happens when you put cold water on an overheated dog, what happens is that the veins contract. And due to the high temperatures, the proteins in the blood collide, causing the blood to become thick and tight. And due to the combination of these two things, the blood stops entering the heart, the kidneys, the liver, and the organs start to fail one at a time due to lack of oxygen. And the result is a very slow and a very painful death for your dog. So what do? Your dog is overheating. It's really hot. What you want to do is first give the dog lukewarm water to drink. So make sure it's lukewarm water to drink. Then cool its feet and chest and belly with a wet towel. Then put the dog in the shade on a wet towel. So that's what you want to do. Okay, so the first thing is lukewarm water. Wrap your dog's paws in a wet towel. Put a wet towel on their chest and belly. Put the dog in the shade. So that's what they want to do. By the time these dogs get into the vet's office, they have heat stroke and they're dying. So we don't want the dogs that to happen. So, and the sweat glands on the dog. So the dog can only sweat. We have sweat glands all over our body, so we sweat in different places in our body. But a dog sweats through its tongue and its paw pads. So that's why they want you to put those towels on the wet towels on the dog's paw pads. Every so often, this statistics come out. I have reasons not to breed your dog, and this is a list of dogs that have been euthanized in the month of April. So euthanized just in the month of April and in just a few states. So I'm going to bring this up here. Just give me a second here. So this is from petfinder.com. And petfinder.com is an awesome website where you could go to find any rescue dog that you want. Whatever breed of dog that you want, go on petfinder.com. You put in your address where you live, how far you're willing to travel to find the dog. If you want a big or a small dog, if you want a male or a female dog, you can even enter what kind of dog you want, breed of dog, and Petfinder will find you that dog at a shelter. Again, I've shared this statistics with you over and over again in the United States because of the homeless dog population. Every single person. So look around wherever you are. If there's people, every single one of those people have to have 4 dogs each to combat the homeless dog population in the United States. And it's even higher for cats. Every single person has to have 7 cats. Now, you think that we're talking about like a third world country here, right? We're not. This is the United States. We have plenty of resources. People just need to use them, right? Spay and neuter your dog. Stop buying dogs from breeders and go to the shelters and get these dogs. But okay, here's the statistic that I have from April 2024. Now, this is just from these states: Pennsylvania, Virginia, Maryland, New York, West Virginia, Ohio, and Washington, D.C. So just from those states in April, I'm going to go through the list. Not all of them, but these are the dogs that were euthanized. So let's just take a beagle, for instance. 4,668 beagles were euthanized in April in those states. 4,867 German Shepherds. Golden Retrievers were the lowest on the list. People love their Golden Retrievers. Who doesn't love a Golden Retriever? But just in the month of April, in those states, 934 Golden Retrievers were put to sleep. Now, on the top of the list, the most dogs euthanized. Robert, you're going to be sad to hear this. Chihuahuas. Chihuahuas was on the top. Not the very top, but the top. 12,877 dogs. Chihuahuas were euthanized in April 2024. Let's see the next one. Of course, the Pit Bull Terrier. You know, those dogs are just bred and bred and bred. They're the most dogs in the shelter. Nobody wants them. Everybody's afraid of them. They're the loveliest dogs you'll ever want to meet. It's all my family ever had was a Pit Bull Terrier. In the 1930s and 40s, and maybe even before then, maybe even the 20s, the Pit Bull Terrier was known as the nanny dog because they took care of the kids and watched over the kids. Labs, yellow, black, and chocolate. 21,413 yellow, black, and chocolate labs were put to sleep in April in those states that I mentioned. Cats, they didn't even, say what kind of cats, just cats. They just put them in a bucket, cats. In April, in those states, 99,631 cats were euthanized in April. So that's not even a whole year. We're not talking about a whole year. We're not even talking about every state in the United States. We're talking about Pennsylvania, Virginia, Maryland, New York, West Virginia, Ohio, and D.C. That was just April 2024. There's a lot more on the list. I'm not going to go through every dog that was euthanized. So, please, everybody, spay and neuter your dog and, just take care of your dogs. Don't buy from a breeder. Adopt, don't shop. Here's a little meme I saw, and it's a little puppy on the front. This is from the Calgary Humane Society, and it says, "I'm a forever dog, not an until dog. I'm not an until you get bored with me dog. I'm not an until you find a girlfriend dog. I'm not until you have a baby dog. I'm not until you have to move dog. I'm not until you have no time dog. I'm a forever dog. If you can't give me forever, I'm not your dog." It's really that simple. And that's from the Calgary Humane Society. And I often see people on Facebook who want to rehome their dog because they're moving. I need to rehome my dog because I had a baby. I need to rehome my dog because of other circumstances. The best thing that you could do is work as hard as you can to keep your dog, because you know what? It's going to go into one of these shelters. The shelters are being overrun, and it's going to be one of those dogs who are on that statistics, that list that, we just went through. So try and do your best. Keep your dog safe out of the heat, and let's keep cool, everybody. Back to you, Robert. Back to you, Haley.
Hey, thanks, Wendy. You are listening to Native Roots Radio. If you have been listening to the show, you are part of our resistance. We need to resist, divest, join a group, run for office, vote, and free Leonard Peltier now. We'll be back tomorrow.